to travel slowly, thousands of years into the past. Imagine the silent desert of Egypt, the sand stretching endlessly toward the horizon, and the Nile River flowing calmly under the light of the stars. In those ancient lands, one of the most fascinating mythologies in history was born. A story full of gods, temples, mysteries, and beliefs that accompanied the Egyptian people for more than 3,000 years. So, relax, take a deep breath, and let the voices of the past accompany you. For the ancient Egyptians, the universe was filled with gods. Every river, every star, every animal could be the manifestation of a divine force. The gods did not live far away from the human world. They were present in everything. In the annual flooding of the Nile, in the sunrise every morning, and in the eternal cycle of life and death. Temples were considered the homes of the gods, and the priests, every day, performed silent rituals to maintain the balance of the world. Because for the Egyptians, the order of the universe was something fragile. They called that balance Ma'at. It was the natural order, justice, and the harmony of the cosmos. One of the most important gods in the entire Egyptian pantheon was Ra, the powerful god of the sun and the source of all life. For the ancient Egyptians, the sun was not simply a star in the sky. It was a living divinity, one that carried out a sacred journey every single day. According to the myths, Ra was born every morning on the eastern horizon. The Egyptians imagined him emerging into the sky inside a divine vessel known as the solar bark. From there, his journey across the heavens began. As the boat moved slowly across the sky, Ra illuminated the world. His light allowed crops to grow. It warmed the fertile lands along the Nile, and it gave life to everything that existed. Because of this, the Egyptians considered him the father of the gods. But his journey did not end when the sun disappeared below the horizon. When night arrived, Ra descended into the mysterious underworld. This dark realm was known as the Duat. There, a dangerous journey began. For 12 hours, the solar bark had to travel through regions filled with shadows, spirits, and creatures of chaos. Ra's most feared enemy was the gigantic serpent Apophis. Every night, Apophis tried to stop the solar boat. It tried to devour the light and plunge the universe into eternal darkness. But Ra did not travel alone. Other gods accompanied him on the boat, protecting the balance of the cosmos. And night after night, Ra managed to defeat the forces of chaos. That is why every sunrise was seen as a victory. Every rising sun was proof that order had triumphed over darkness once again. Osiris, Isis, and the story of. Among all the stories of Egyptian mythology, one of the most famous is the legend of Osiris. Osiris was the god of life, fertility, agriculture, and rebirth. According to the myths, he ruled Egypt as a wise and just king. Under his rule, the people learned how to cultivate the land, respect the laws, and live in harmony. At his side was his wife, the goddess Isis. Isis was considered one of the most powerful deities. She was the goddess of magic, wisdom, and protection. However, not everyone was pleased with the reign of Osiris. His own brother, Set, felt a deep jealousy. Set represented the desert, storms, violence, and chaos. Over time, his hatred grew stronger, until one day he decided to eliminate his brother. According to the legend, Set prepared a trap. He ordered a magnificent chest to be built, decorated with gold and precious stones. During a great banquet, he presented the chest to all the guests. Then he announced a strange game. The chest would be given as a gift to whoever fit perfectly inside it. One by one, the guests tried, but none of them fit, until Osiris decided to try. When Osiris lay down inside the chest, he fit perfectly. At that moment, Set slammed the lid shut. He sealed it with nails and threw it into the Nile River. The body of Osiris was carried away by the waters, disappearing in the distance. When Isis discovered what had happened, she began a long and painful search. She traveled through cities, temples, and distant lands. For a long time, she searched without rest, until she finally found the chest containing the body of Osiris. But the story did not end there. Set discovered where Isis had hidden the body. In his fury, he cut it into many pieces and scattered them across Egypt. Once again, Isis began to search. She traveled across the land piece by piece, gathering every fragment. With the help of her magic, she managed to reconstruct the body of Osiris. Through that powerful ritual, Osiris was able to return to life for a brief moment. Just long enough to conceive a son. That son would become Horus. Horus and the battle for. Horus grew up in secret, protected by his mother Isis. During his childhood, he lived far from danger, waiting for the right moment. As time passed, he became a strong and courageous god. Horus was often represented as a man with the head of a falcon, a symbol of the sky and royal power. When he reached adulthood, he decided to reclaim the throne that had belonged to his father. That meant confronting Set. The battle between Horus and Set became one of the most famous rivalries in Egyptian mythology. According to ancient stories, their struggle lasted for many years. In some myths, they fought as warriors. In others, they transformed into animals to battle one another. Some stories even describe how they fought in the sky and in the waters of the Nile. During one of these battles, Horus lost one of his eyes. That eye later became known as the Eye of Horus, a powerful symbol of protection. Despite the hardships, Horus never abandoned his fight. Eventually, the gods gathered to decide who should rule Egypt. After hearing all sides, they made their decision. Horus was the rightful heir of Osiris. Set was defeated, and order returned to the world. From that moment on, the pharaohs were considered the living representation of Horus on earth. And when a pharaoh died, it was believed that his spirit joined Osiris in the realm of the afterlife. In this way, the divine cycle continued forever. For the Egyptians, death was not the end. It was simply the beginning of another journey. The soul had to travel through the underworld. There, it faced a very important judgment. The heart of the deceased was placed on a scale. On the other side was the feather of Ma'at. If the heart was light, if the person had lived with justice, they could enter paradise, a place called the Field of Reeds, a perfect reflection of life in Egypt, but eternal, and filled with peace. And so, among solar gods, divine kings, and journeys to the afterlife, Egyptian mythology reminds us of something very ancient. That the universe is full of stories. Stories that have traveled for thousands of years. Like soft echoes from the past. Now, as the night continues, let those ancient voices slowly fade away. Like the sun disappearing behind the desert. Good night.